welcome to panel number 3 in today's AUB Engage Forum. It's on refugee education. Everyone has the right to education. And still, education remains inaccessible for millions of school-aged refugee children and adolescents around the world, who are among the forcibly displaced population who had to flee their homes due to conflict, violence, and natural disasters. In Lebanon, the financial collapse, political instability, and increasing poverty levels have severely impacted education of children from all backgrounds. More specifically, when it comes to Syrian refugee children, they make up more than half of the refugee population in Lebanon. But only 30% have ever been to school, and almost 60% were not even enrolled in school in the recent years. They face several barriers to education, including, but not limited to, disrupted learning, limited spaces in the public school system, differences in the curricula, language barriers, lack of documentation, which makes it even more difficult for them to register in schools, high transportation costs, and limited pathways to transition to formal education. And these are just naming just a few of the barriers. In this panel today, 3 teams will be presenting their community service projects addressing refugee education from Lebanon to Afghanistan. This includes a special emphasis on access to education for women and girls, access to knowledge and information on reproductive health, and developing extracurricular activities to enhance refugees' mental health and well-being. So we will begin the first intervention from the MEPI Tomorrow's Leaders Undergraduate Scholarship Program, which is titled Reproductive Healthcare for Refugees, an Education Family Planning Model for Youth in Majdal, Anjar. Please join me in welcoming the first team in this panel.
Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Judy Morley, and I'm a nursing student and a MEPI 8 scholar. It is my absolute pleasure today to introduce to you our capstone project, Family Forward, an educational family planning course for refugee youth in Majdal, Anjar. Our team does not only unite scholars from different disciplines, be it business administration, computer science, psychology, and nursing, but also from different war-struck countries around the world, including Syria and Yemen. Through this project, we were able to unite our diverse backgrounds and interests in order to promote one aspect of refugee health, in particular, reproductive health. Our presentation for today is designed to introduce fellow attendees to reproductive health in general, and then delve deep into the gap in family planning that is observed globally across Lebanon, and particularly among Syrian refugees residing in Lebanon. However, before I start, I would like to introduce a couple of definitions. First off, reproductive health. According to WHO, reproductive health implies that people are able to have a satisfying and safe reproductive life, the capability to reproduce, and the freedom to decide if, when, and how often to do so. Similarly, reproductive rights are the legal right to contraception, abortion, family treatment, and most importantly, access to information about one's reproductive body. Finally, family planning allows people to decide when and if to have children using the information, means, and methods they need to do so. The reason why I have introduced these 3 definitions is not only to shed awareness about this topic, but also to highlight the unfortunate fact that globally, and particularly among refugees, these are not rights, but rather privileges. According to WHO, 222 million women around the world have an unmet need for family planning due to various reasons, the most devastating of which is a humanitarian crisis. In particular, by May 2022, the UNHCR has revealed that 100 million people worldwide, half of whom were women, were forced to flee their homes due to humanitarian crisis. Out of these 100 million, Lebanon alone hosts more than 1.5 million Syrian refugees, 52% of whom are women, and 27% are girls under the age of 18, all who have fled 12 years of civil war that still manages to actually endanger their lives up until this moment. In fact, according to UNFPA, 1 in 5 women of reproductive age living in crisis-affected settings is likely to suffer an unplanned pregnancy or an unsafe abortion.
Even after displaced women make their life to a safe setting, they are at a much higher rate from dying from a pregnancy-related complications due to the poor availability and uptake of family planning services. In fact, a study by UNFPA and Beirut Arab University found that birth rates among Syrian refugees in Lebanon are abnormally high. In fact, due to several reasons, due to the lack of knowledge, improper use of contraceptives, sociocultural barriers, and negative attitudes towards family planning in general, and contraceptives in particular. Less than 30% of married refugee couples actually plan the number of children they wish to have, and less than 40% have the number of children that they originally planned. These findings inspired us to wonder, where is the knowledge gap in family planning truly starts? To find the answer, we visited Refugee Serving School in Majdal, Anjar, a city in East Bekaa that hosts more than 20,000 Syrian refugees. There, we interviewed 27 students, 15 females and 12 males. And we found that to assess their knowledge and readiness to learn about family planning in general and contraceptives. We also interviewed 3 teachers in order to assess the gap in the existing curriculum's coverage of this topic.
Thank you. Okay, so the first component of our needs assessment was related to the students' perceived age for marriage, the appropriate age for marriage. And the findings, as you can see here, indicate that the majority of students indicated a really young age, appropriate age for marriage based on their perceptions, with notably female students indicating much younger ages for marriage. We also found that 83% of the students were not familiar with the term family planning at all. 74% have not been exposed to sexual health topics in their households, and more than half the students were not comfortable receiving family planning education from opposite sex instructor. We also found that 70% of them were not comfortable discussing sexual health and family planning at all, and almost half of them believed the topic was a taboo. So these findings, as you can see, indicate a really existing and large gap in knowledge and lack of awareness about the topic, which affects their attitudes and decisions in the future.
Thank you. As a result, we have created Family Forward. It's a school-based family planning educational course that constitutes of 10 educational online modules. They're covering topics of reproductive health care and the behavior of adolescents between the age of 12 to 14. The course emphasizes greatly on the methods, importance, and benefits of family planning. To increase accessibility, since we're offering them to refugees, we are going to introduce the topics through an online course. The online course can allow students to learn at their own pace, track their knowledge, and see their progress. Through Family Forward, we aim to introduce school adolescents with reproductive health care knowledge and family planning, hoping to integrate this into the formal curriculum, the formal educational curriculum, to graduate generations of informed family builders. Now I'll give the floor to Majd so that he can give us an idea of the prototype that we have came up with.
To accommodate the educational needs of the refugee population, we've built this prototype to demonstrate our online platform. And we made sure that all the materials are in Arabic. So all users come to this page where they sign up. Here, each user identify either as a teacher or as a student, which will help us in estimating how many students each teacher is responsible for. Okay, so here they gain access to our 10 learning modules that are related to family planning and reproductive health. But Before taking any module, before learning the material, each student goes through a pre-assessment. Why? Because after they do the pre-assessment, they study the material of the module. After that, they do the same test. This will help us in estimating the retention of the information and will help us in the future iterations to see what information they already knew that there is no need to address, what information they didn't know that we need to address in better ways in the future iterations. So here, each user can sign out whenever they want to, sign in again, track their progress, and gain access again to the same 10 learning modules. And as you can see here, for example, if I reached, for example, فوائد تنظيم الأسرة, which translate in English to benefits of family planning, they can just continue from where they left off. But what are our future plans regarding this platform and this project?
Our future steps include consulting a child psychologist and reproductive health specialist in order to officially finalize the content of our 10 learning modules. Next off, we aim to export Family Forward as an online educational module accessible to all independent learners, that is, students who might not be formally in schools or those that have already graduated but do not seem to know a lot about family planning and reproductive health. Finally, based on our success rates, we aim to propose our Family Forward to the Ministry of Education and Higher Education in order to integrate this course into the public school curricula, because we believe that family planning is as important as mathematics and sciences to introduce to school-aged children. Thank you very much.
So, second up for our next intervention is going to be from scholars from the MasterCard Foundation. Their project titled Through Our Lens, a community-led extracurricular program to bridge sociocultural alienation in Yasmeen informal tented settlements.
Hello everyone. 12 years ago, the Syrian war started and led to many catastrophic problems, especially in the educational system. So here we are as the MCF team to present and to tell the story, the Syrian story through our lens, which is a community-based project and implemented in Yasmeen camp. And let me introduce first our outline, and I will show you the several steps that we passed through as a project. We first did several desk research, and I will show you the results of that in the global, national, and the local level, then our intervention. Sorry for that. First, our team members: Abdelrazak, Public Health; Batul, Industry Engineer; Kutruda, Agribusiness; Ahmed, Mechanical Engineer; Aya, Physics; and Smila, Applied Mathematics. As a global challenges, we have to show you that why we care about mandated education in our team. Mandated education is so important because it targeted children aged between 6 and 16 years old. And it's a combination of primary and secondary schooling. And as a result, I will show you how a comparison between the global percentages and the refugee percentages. We have 91% of primary versus 63% only of refugees. However, for secondary part, 84% of global students are enrolled. However, only 24% of refugees are enrolled in schools. And we have about 3.7 million refugees who are out of school, and which is a great percentage. As a global response, we had the No Lost Generation, and it's a global campaign launched by UNICEF and several international NGOs, and it's a response to the Syrian crisis and neighboring countries, and it was implemented in 2013 and targeted in Jordan, Lebanon, Turkey, Iraq, and where refugees are mainly. And the ultimate goal is to protect youth and children and to provide them with the needed education to have access to higher education and dignified jobs. Now we will delve into the national level, and we mean by that in Lebanon especially. And Lebanon, as we all know, is currently home to 1.5 million Syrian refugees, and which is an important country to look at when we're tackling the Syrian crisis. And as we know, mainly Syrian refugees are a half percentage are in Bekaa, and Lebanon hosts close to 500K registered school-aged Syrian refugee children. Now, as a comparison as we did in the global level, I will show you in the national level, and we have 78% of Lebanese are enrolled in primary, however, 52% only of Syrian refugees, and for the secondary part, we have 59% of Lebanese are enrolled, however, only 27% of Syrian refugees, which is somehow relative to the global percentages. And we have about 30% of school-aged refugee children have never been to school, and which is a great challenge to look at. And we discovered that through our desk research, the challenges that led to such percentages. First, we have the financial need and living conditions, and they are very difficult for Syrian refugees, especially in the camps. And foreign language of instruction, because French and English languages are not suitable for all Syrian refugees. And what we care about as a team was second shift schooling, and we mean by that after from 2 to 6 p.m. And we have the national curriculum unmodified, and which is not as the students are expecting from the educational system. And we have, for sure, the lack of psychological support. As a result, we figure out that as a team that we have a strong alienation, and we mean by that a separation of a person from what they need and what they are expecting from the educational system. And this results in a huge problem that we figured out, which is the identity gap. What I mean by that, social-cultural alienation, the students are not aware of what Syria means for them, what the country means for them, what the history of their country means, and they don't know really about the history, the culture, the stories behind what was passing through to lead for the Syrian war. And as a result, we have the experience of refugee in Lebanese public school, poor and negative and unproductive, and they are not aware of their own talents. Now I will give the floor for Abdelrazak to explain more about the local.
Thank you, Lara, and good afternoon, everybody. So now that you have understanding of the global status and the national situation of refugees, I'll start off by talking about the locals. So this study and this initiative is based in the small village of Elias, which is part of the district of Sahaleh in central Bekaa. This town is home to Yasmeen camp, which is the home of about 220 families from Syria, with about 500,000 children, 60% of which currently attend school. So in this initiative, we partnered with ORDA. ORDA is a local NGO that seeks to enhance quality of life for refugees at the camp through providing relief, education, protection, and so in this initiative, we plan to capitalize on the education domain of the NGO I've spoken earlier with ORDA. So through this, we plan to target students currently in school through the age of 10 to 16 years old. So I'll now let Batul speak more about the pilot study.
Thank you, Abdelrazak. Actually, the whole project started when I was leading a charity campaign along with the Insight Club cabinet, Abbas Atout and Omar Ghalayini. This picture is for us. It means a lot for me. And from this charity event, we were able actually to have informal interviews with the children and formal interviews with the NGO URDA, and this made us know better about the camp. And I will show you this video to know more about the educational aspect, the educational reality actually in the camp.
حمادي أنا اسمي إبراهيم وعمري 10 سنوات. أنا اسمي إيمان بحب المدرسة كتير. حياتي ما رحت على مدرسة ضليت فيها كتير. المدرسة بالنسبة إلي كل شيء بحياتي. بحب إني أتعلم لأنه إذا ما تعلمت ما رح أقدر أحقق حلمي. يلا A B C D E F G H I هذا منسي.
I swear this project costed me a lot of tears. Okay, and through our formal interviews with the NGO, we discovered that there is lack of resources in the camp. There is marginalization of the talents that the kids have because they go to school only to learn science and math and then go back to the camp. And through our informal interviews, that was shown in the video, Ibrahim said, I have never been in a school for a very long time, showing the instability status that he is living. And after that, and while we were in the camp, me and my team member, we were asking them some informal question. And the special thing that was, when they were introducing themselves, they were saying like, I am the artist. I am the photographer, Zainab. When we asked them about what are their hobbies, they said like, this is a very difficult question. I have never been asked about.
أنا زينب المصورة. أنا لما الطباخ. أنا بتاعت الأميرة. أنا دلع بسام. أنا بيسان الدكتورة.
Okay. And from these informal meetings with the kids, we could collect some of the sentences and constructed our empathy map. In our empathy map, we put ourselves in the shoes of the children, and we started to analyze the situation. Like, how do they think and how do they feel? Actually, they think that no one cares about their talents, their hobbies. They care about their grades. And how they feel lonely, they feel inferior, they feel marginalized, and sometimes they feel that they are resilient enough because they are able to continue their education despite all the challenges. After this analysis, actually we found like we should intervene and we should take these talents into consideration. We held formal interviews with the NGO again, and we found that this NGO, the URDA, had noticed this before and started an initiative called Al-Ibda Center. Al-Ibda Center opened this year in 2022, and it aims to give the students the space to express themselves and grow their talents. Here, our intervention. So our intervention will be under the Ibda Center program. We will have our intervention is through our lens by enabling the Syrian refugees to reflect their reality by themselves, by giving them sessions to learn photography and to learn the skills that is needed to share their moments at the camp. This will be our project intervention will be done through 3 days. The first one, we will teach the students the basic knowledge about the camera. The second one, we will teach them like how to take the pictures, the portrait, how to edit it. And the third one will be like a project presentation for the kids, for the refugee children, so that they take the pictures and show us the whole project. Thank you very much. Actually, I want to say a final note. It is like I am a refugee, and in a few days I will be graduating from the American University of Beirut as an industrial engineer. I believe that it is our duty to shed the light on the potentials that the refugees have, to shed the light on how resilient they are, how capable they are. It is enough, and it is the right time to stop showing them as fragile, incapable people and burden to their countries, because they actually can build the hosting countries.
Last but not least, for those who were with us during the opening ceremony, you probably already heard Nasreen, one of our ELC scholars who presented in the opening, but we want to have her back on stage again just to share her presentation again for those who haven't seen it, and since no one was able to ask you any questions in the opening ceremony. So we welcome you back, Nasreen.
Hello everyone, I'm Nasreen Azizeh from Afghanistan, a senior student of political science and public administration. I'm so happy, I don't know why. Thank you. It is a great honor to be on this stage today to talk to you about my Afghan sisters who have been educationally left behind for over a year in Afghanistan. I would like to start with a short video. In this clip, we see the harsh reality of Afghan girls mourning for their right to education. I want to ask you to put yourself in their shoes for a moment. Imagine if you were born in Afghanistan and you were told that you cannot go to school simply because of your gender. Imagine how different your life would be if you were denied the opportunity to learn and grow and to pursue your passions. Imagine a country where the potential and talents of half of its population are wasted, and where progress and development are stifled by discrimination and prejudice. Today, I would like to bring your attention to the issues of the Afghan girls and women who have been educationally marginalized for more than a year. I want to introduce you to SAMAR Academy, which is an online empowerment platform committed to providing educational support to these women. But first, I will discuss education as a global challenge. In 2023, 263 million children and youth are out of school. 139 of them are at the upper secondary school level. These numbers are very alarming. According to the Article 26 of the Universal Declaration of Human Rights, education is a fundamental human right. Education protects children from danger. It allows the expressions of creativity. And it is the most important and fundamental tool for women empowerment. Through education, girls and women can gain the knowledge and skill they need to improve their lives and the lives of those around them. This provides the confidence and agency to make their own decisions and to pursue their dreams, whether that be in the workforce, in their families, or in their communities. And yet currently, Afghanistan is exceptionally the only country in the world that does not allow girls to pursue secondary school and university. Historically, Afghanistan has its ups and downs. Between 1960 and 1996, there was a significant increase in the number of girls attending school. However, between 1996 and 2001, when the Taliban ruled the country, they placed a complete ban on education for girls and women. During the period of 2001 and 2018, there was a considerable growth in the number of girls enrolled in schools and universities, with 3.8 million attending primary and secondary education. Unfortunately, history repeated itself on August 15, 2021, when the Taliban once again took over the country. Following the country's takeover, all educational institutions were immediately closed with a promise to allow girls to return to school by March 2022. However, when the long-awaited day arrived, the girls were turned away and instructed to wait until further notice. It has been now 590 days since secondary female students have been unable to attend schools in Afghanistan. As if these were not enough, the Taliban's subsequent decree in December 2022 banned all Afghan girls from attending university. The problem has been severe to the point that even taxi drivers have been ordered not to transport girls to universities. Aside from the education, Afghan women are also banned from all social, political, and civic activities, leading to their complete social exclusion, early and forced marriages, and lack of access to work. Fortunately, I was born in the year 2000 and had the privilege of being among the girls who received an education during this time. This made me realize the importance of education and its life-changing impact, and inspired me to act and make a difference, especially in this challenging time of my country. This led me to the creation of SAMAR Educational Academy. SAMAR is an online empowerment platform that advocates for women's rights by providing them with quality education. We believe that education is a key tool for breaking the cycles of violence and oppression that Afghan women are currently suffering from. Investing in girls' and women's education is not only a moral imperative, but also a strategic choice that can bring about positive social and economic outcomes for everyone. In addition to the language and capacity building sessions offered by SAMAR Educational Academy, we are trying to help in the well-being of our students who have been home present for over a year. Through our engaging classes and events, we want to decrease their isolation as much as possible. My goal is to bring attention to stories of marginalized individuals while ensuring the safety of our students. At SAMAR, we draw inspiration from the ancient collection of animal fables called Hala Fleihan, which use allegories to reflect the social and political context of its time. Despite being written 13 centuries ago, the fables remain relevant to today's world, particularly in illustrating the oppressions of male-dominated societies like Afghanistan. My approach is similar, where we use language as a tool for women to express themselves in a secure environment. By providing a safe platform, we empower these women to share their experiences with an international audience. Much like political messages were decoded from Hala Fleihan's animal fables. The aim is to keep their voices resonating loudly and to initiate a wave of change. I will play a video of a testimony of one of our students.
I'm a student in 7th class. If the school would be opened, but unfortunately the Taliban don't allow the girls to go to school. Now I'm studying English in SAMAR Education Academy. I'm studying English because I want to continue my education in other countries. It's the only way that we can make our future. My favorite hobbies are riding a bike and drawing. My goal is be an engineer.
The Coded has long been used as a means of challenging authority and promoting justice. With a focus on safeguarding students' identities, SAMAR provides a platform that enables students to exercise agency, connect with others, and mobilize to assert their right to education and participation in the public sphere. Since I established SAMAR in June 2022, we have had tens of volunteers with us. In the current semester at SAMAR, we are honored to have 6 volunteers from the AUB community. Indeed, we could not make SAMAR have such a huge impact without their help. Some of them are in the audience today. Let's give them a round of applause for their amazing service. We cannot control where we are born or in what circumstances we are born into, but we can choose to use our privileges and resources to help those who are less fortunate. The world cannot stand by and watch as an entire generation of Afghan women is robbed of their future. Join me in supporting the rights of Afghan women and ensuring that they are not forgotten or abandoned in their struggle for freedom and equality. Thank you.
Thank you, Nasreen, for a very moving, powerful presentation. I invite you now, the representatives from each team, to come up on the stage to take questions. Okay, now we will open up the floor for Q&A. So is there anyone in the audience who would like to ask a question first?
Hello. Hi, can you hear me? Okay, this is Ahmed. I just had a question for the first group. Yes. So who is exactly your audience?
Thank you very much for your question. So as we have detailed in our presentation, our target group are school-aged children from the age of 12 to 14, mainly because this is the population that we have gained access to in order to do our needs assessment. And another factor why we are targeting school-aged children is because we want to be as culturally sensitive as possible. So imagine this with me. I come up to your parents after they have had you and your siblings, and I tell them, this is wrong. What you have done is wrong. You should not bear extra children, all right? How is this going to resonate? It will absolutely be, first, morally or basically unethical to tell them that on so many humanitarian levels, and it would be particularly impolite. So imagine if I am trying to raise awareness about a forgotten, and ignored concepts such as family planning. Moreover, we have discovered that truly the gap starts among school-aged children, where they are just exposed to, for example, simple mathematics or complicated ones, but these are not skills that could actually integrate them into the society. You're not going to be integrated if you just merely know how to multiply numbers or how to do, derivations and integrations. You are a social member at the end of the day who is going to be responsible for raising children. So for us, the reason why we target school-aged children is because we believe that this is the population among which our information is going to resonate. They are neurologically more agile to retain this information, and they will accept this new introduction of family planning to their curricula because they still, or we're hoping so, have not been severely tainted by the cultural taboos.
I'd like to add a follow-up question to that, actually. I know that you guys have developed this application. How is the process going to work? Are you going to be training the teachers who are then going to facilitate the online courses with the students? And then also, how are you going to ensure the completion rate of a self-paced online course, knowing that even as adults, it's hard to start a course online without any facilitation or supervision. So how are you going to ensure that successful completion rate?
So thank you very much. Answering your first question, I believe that maintaining the website as user-friendly as possible and as easy as possible, taking into consideration the slow internet that the settings hosting refugees could actually provide, is at the core of ensuring that the students first access the courses and retain the information that they are being exposed to. I would envision that the first time we introduce this course, we are going to be present in order just to familiarize the teachers and the students with how it goes. But unfortunately, down the line, I believe that we will be able to integrate a tutorial that is built into the website in order to make this website as sustainable as possible. Answering your second question, dropout rates are high in every online course. How many of us have not completed a course on Coursera that we promised ourselves we're going to finish in winter or summer break, despite the certificates that we get? So I can tell you we're going to provide them certificates, that's for sure, because this is how we are ensuring the importance of the information that we are giving them. But most importantly, we want to advertise for family planning as something as important as learning how to count from 1 to 10. So we are adopting something called the health belief model. Many of you guys, if exposed to public health, would be familiar with, which basically does not only expose children to information, but rather takes into perspective their perceived benefits, risks, costs, and susceptibility to the topics that they are learning. So I believe this would be the most important way to target.
Thank you, Judy. Any other questions? Yes?
So I would like to ask about the SAMAR application. What if it got banned in Afghanistan? Like, what if they banned you or banned the people there from getting access to this application? How will that turn out, or how do you have any other solution?
Okay, thank you so much for the question. Just to clarify the confusion, that we are not working through application. We have classes online through Zoom. It is 5 days in a week. So we are not using applications for that. Yes.
and electricity, like, can they actually watch the Zoom, or do they have internet for that?
Well, in Afghanistan, it's different. It's wrong if I say that they do not have access or they have access, because Afghanistan is a very big country and it differs from place to place. If we talk about Kabul, it's something else. If you talk about Daikonde, which is another province, it's different. So in different locations, the facilities are different. However, our students are from different provinces of Afghanistan. And unfortunately, most of them, they do not have access to internet connection. So a lot of time in our classes, we change the timings based on their, I don't know, whenever the internet works well for them, for example, during the night or during the morning, so we can shift our classes. And one thing that I'm very thankful to my volunteers who are from AUB and outside AUB, that they are flexible and they are understanding. And we have been trying to cope with these challenges, but so far we did not skip the classes, even if we had even one student or two students in the class.
Any other questions? Yes, please, here in the front.
Thank you to all three teams, and you had such a powerful speech, so thank you for that. How do you think the AUB community can help you more? I think this is just a platform for you to make suggestions, and we might be there for you.
Yes, that's what I want. At AUB, we have resources. We have human resources. And at AUB, we have engineers. We have those that they are good in computers. We have those who are studying English in English fields. So if they come together, if they can help, for example, some of the students from English department, maybe they come together, they prepare syllabus for our intermediate courses, maybe for a speaking skill, maybe that will be a great help. I don't know, somebody is good in computers, so he can help or she can help us with teaching a Word document to our students. And in Afghanistan, students are really, really, they love education. Me being an example from Afghanistan, like I cannot imagine a life without education. So I know that my fellows in Afghanistan, they would love to learn different things, skills, arts. So anyone who would like to volunteer, who would like to be with us, SAMAR is a platform for them. I cannot do it alone myself. This is a platform for everyone who wants to help those who are really in need. They are really marginalized. They cannot have a say in the society. They had protested for their right to education, but they were, present, and a lot of things happened to them. So that's why they cannot continue doing that, and that they are suppressed completely in Afghanistan. And it would be great if AUB community could help, I don't know, from different fields, from anything. If you could help those students, it will be a life-changing impact.
Any other questions? Okay, I'd like to ask, so based on this CSP journey, as we call it, that you've been on past few months, what are the experiences that you're going to take with you beyond the AUB walls once you graduate? So what is the CSP experience had on you, and where are you going from there?
Thank you. So I think the most important thing that we take away from this is the importance of give back to the community. Give back is the most important thing that we can take away from this project. Because, I mean, at the end of the day, like, it's right here, us who can pretty much be the leaders of tomorrow and taking in part of any project that will seek to, enhance human capital, be it, improve education, improve of, quality of living. It's the most important thing. So I think it's a tiny example of what we could all do, in the near or the fast future as well. So I think that's the most important thing that we can pretty much take away from this, experience.
So as the #1 university in the Middle East, AUB undeniably provides us with world-class education, but I believe through our scholarship programs, shout out to MEPI, and this community service project, we are exposed to another aspect of the importance of education, which is the feasibility and applicability in the grounds, on the grounds, in real life. So it is important if I am majoring in English or nursing or computer science or arts and what have you, but how is it exactly that I'm translating this information to my community in order to improve their livelihoods? This is, for me, is what I'm going to take away from CSB.
Okay, so for me, it is, I don't know, I always like to live with the people. I want to be, I don't know, interviewing people in the shelter, in whatever places, and AUB gave me this experience through my project and different other projects. In my sophomore year, in one semester, I did 72 plus volunteering hours. I love volunteering hours, and not all volunteering hours, volunteering, internship, anything. And when we study at university, when you are in the class, you learn some formulas, you learn some new theories in philosophy, in whatsoever. But when you want to bring a change in the life of your neighbor or somebody that you know is in need, so I think that is related to the project that we are doing. It is that we open our eyes to the realities of the world, that the world is not completely white or black or the way I see, but there are a lot of people that I have a misconception about them, misunderstanding about them. For me, as an Afghan living here, I faced a lot of difficult times at AUB, even from very educated people, but by the passage of the time, I'm very honored that today I'm a senior student, and a lot of them, they are my close friends, and we have built the relationship, the professional, the personal relationships. And I think, yeah, the projects, they make us closer to reality, to whatever, maybe it can guide us to what we want to do in our life. I'm studying political science now, but I want to be a teacher in my in the future. I want to be a good teacher. I don't know, in the village or somewhere. I don't want to use my AUB diploma for Harvard, but instead I will use it for my country, Afghanistan. I will try to transfer my knowledge to my people.
Okay, we might have time just for one more question if anyone has. Any burning question? All right, then if you can just tell me like one challenge that you faced during this process, their CSP's process, because as we know, it is a process, and the pilot intervention or the implementation part is sort of the easiest part to do. But we face many challenges in the process. So if you can just tell me one challenge that you experienced. Okay. Yeah, okay, go ahead, Judy.
I think discussing reproductive health and family planning was a not very easy topic, especially among children. The first thing that I remember we were faced with is my mommy is going to tell me about it, or my father is going to tell me about it at the right time. And we were stoned. We just did not know how to, catch up from there. But I believe we tackled this problem by basically dividing our groups and making sure that the same-sex interviewers were interviewing same-sex interviewees, because this is how they started opening up more about the topic. It also included, for example, using more culturally friendly words. So, for example, the word sex was never used in our interviews, and we were always making sure to absolutely tell them that whatever information that you're going to provide us with is going to be anonymous, and it's not going to be used against you, but rather it's going to be used for an educational purpose. So I think it really built on our communication skills and how to target, the taboos of the society.
Thank you for highlighting that.
One of the challenges that I faced, and I'm still facing, and I'm sure I will face in the future, is the internet connection of my students. A lot of time they cannot afford internet because it is expensive in Afghanistan. So the events that we organize, I see like hundreds of students joining the Zoom meeting at the very beginning, but then at the end of the session, I see more WhatsApp messages than participants in the Zoom meeting saying that I cannot afford more than this, or my internet is finished, so send us the recording, something like that. This is a challenge that we have, and I don't know how we can solve that. One way is that we can have partnership with any NGO or any organizations in Lebanon or outside Lebanon that they can help us financially so we can help these students to buy internet bundles and to be able to study.
Thank you. Abdelrazak.
I guess for us it was identifying a specific problem to focus on. We have had a tremendous amount of issues that we could perhaps focus on. So the challenge was trying to pick a specific problem that we can address. So that was problem in for teammates and I. We had a lot of issues in our today's community, so we had a problem trying to pick that specific problem. Yeah.
Okay, thank you so much for your inspiring work and for being here today. And that's it for panel 3. We're going to take a break and we'll reconvene at 3:15.